Welcome to Design to Move, a weekly functional movement series reviewing common movement impairment syndromes, muscle imbalances, and injury cycles and how to correct for them. Don't just exercise, but restore optimal movement.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Design to Move. My name is Ryan Maxwell. We've got our whole fluid team here with us today, and we're going to be taking you through another movement impairment syndrome having to do with your breathing mechanics. This is an extension of last week's video where we talked about the accessory respiratory muscles. This week we're going to talk about the muscles that pull our back into length or extension around the lumbar spine, and that's going to be your erectors and your latissimus dorsi, the big upper body muscles. When they're tight, they distort the way our ribs are positioned, and it makes our diaphragm lift up higher than it should, and that's going to alter a concept called a zone of apposition. It's the optimization of your ribs being held down so you can use your diaphragm more efficiently. So we're going to show you today how to get these muscles to relax and give you exercises to help you restore your breathing mechanics. If you have any questions on the topic, make sure to reach out to us at admin@fluidhealthandfitness.com. We do have a blog on the topic. It's going to be in the description below, and we have a table of contents here to the side if you want to zip to any of the segments or to the condensed version of the video at the end. Let's get right into it. First segment is on release. This is our mobility release section. Again, this is going to be targeting the lats and the erectors of the spine. You are going to need a foam roller for this. So everyone's going to get down on the ground and put the foam roller behind their back just above their pelvis. Remember, we're going to be targeting the erectors here, and this is an extensor of your spine. It basically attaches from the pelvis to the base of your neck, and it lifts the back into extension. So that's going to open up your abdominal wall and actually lift your ribs. So what we're going to do is reduce that pressure from that downward pelvic position. So with the body on top of the roller, you're going to compress the erectors, and it should be just parallel to your pelvis, adjacent to your spine. Now with the hips slightly lifted off the ground, you're going to breathe in deeply, expand through your rib line, and then breathe out and contract your abs downward. As you do that, you'll feel the pressure of the roller pulling your tissues open through your erectors. Now if you tilt your side or your hips to the side a little bit, you'll be able to isolate one side or hemisphere of the body, and then go ahead and breathe in deeply, expand, extend gently on the roller, and then breathe out and flex down, flexing your abdominals. As you do that, you'll feel that shearing pressure again exerted on the muscle. So what we want to do is go up and down the length of the spine, make sure that you find tender spots, and find that center point, and then breathe in and out to help to elongate the muscle bodies. This is called a pin and stretch technique. It's a soft tissue mobilization drill. It takes about 60 seconds or so. If you go up the entire spine, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to help to open it up, and you can do both sides of the spine before you move on. So you're going to take that roller and you're going to roll over your rib line towards your chest wall, right underneath of the scapula, and go into a fetal position. Bring your knees up towards your chest. That's going to create the flexion through your spine. Now take your other arm and support your head, the one on top of the body, so that you can maintain the height of your head. And you're going to lean over, and I'm going to pull Steve over a little bit deeper. You're going to breathe in and lift your arm up over the head, and then bring the elbow in closer to the ear. And as you do that, make sure that you anchor your pelvis under, and then bring your arm back down towards the ground, and then bring it forward towards your hip. Now the act of bringing the arm up and behind is going to stretch through that lat. The pressure exerted between the rib cage and the roller is going to basically push into the lat and help to shear it as you articulate through the humeral attachment, or the arm coming up over the head. Make sure to breathe in as you reach up, bring it up over the head, and then breathe out and bring the arm back down. You want to go through about 6 to 10 cycles, and then you can move over to the other side of the body and get both sets of lats. This is our activation segment of the video, and we're going to be targeting the medial hamstring. So you're going to need to lay flat, put your feet up on the wall. Let's get right to it. This next exercise positions our hamstrings to be more engaged. Remember, your paraspinals are your abdominals and your hamstrings to help pull the pelvis under and stabilize your lumbo-pelvic hip system. So we want to turn these guys on, and this is our activation for the day. So with the foam roller between your legs, you're going to use that as a spatial relationship to keep your knees in line with your hips, and your heels are going to be planted on the wall. So find your heels on the wall with the knees bent at 90 and your lower back in contact with the ground. What you're gonna do is breathe all the air out of your lung to get your abs to engage before you start moving through your hips. And then you're gonna press your hips up through or off the ground by pushing your heels into the wall, and then slowly come down and breathe the air out of your lungs. So you're gonna come down to a count of 4, breathe out 4, 3, get all the air out of your lungs by the time you get to the bottom, 1, and then breathe in and lift back up, making sure that you push through your heels and make sure that your toes are slightly internally rotated. It's gonna orient the femur or the leg to make sure that you engage your medial hamstrings. These are traditionally involved in your body mechanics, so we wanna make sure that we get them online. So once again, the big important factor here is to get all the air out of the lungs first. Get your ribs down, get your pelvis to a neutral alignment, and then push your heels into the wall to lift your hips up. And come down slowly, getting all the air out of your lungs to a count of 4. You're gonna wanna go through 20 repetitions, give yourself 45 seconds to recover in between the sets, and then complete another set, and that will be it for, again, the activation of the medial hamstrings. This is your integration segment of the video. This is where we put all the pieces together. You're gonna need an exercise band and anchor it somewhere about hip height. So maybe tie it off to a doorknob, and you're gonna need this little exercise band. It's about 2 to 3 pounds of tension. If you need one, visit our site and purchase it there. Let's rock and roll. We wanna feed this into a full body movement, and that's gonna teach your brain how to make sure that all your joints play together nicely and hold your body weight up so we don't put any extra wear and tear in one given part of your body. This is gonna engage those hamstrings that we just targeted, and now feed it into our upper body through what's called your anterior oblique sling system. So in order to accomplish this, you're gonna anchor the band to the wall, and you're gonna step forward into your lead leg and press with the opposing arm into flexion so that you get this basically diagonal lateral tension across the body. You wanna make sure that your knee stays in line with your hip, your pelvic line stays parallel to the floor, and you rotate your arm around a fixed trunk. So you shouldn't see a lot of rotation through the trunk. Guys, show them what it looks like. You're gonna breathe in as you sink into it. Go ahead and hit it. Breathe in. Push the arm around, breathe out, and as you come back, don't let the band tension sling you back. That tells you again that your abdominals are not engaging. So again, hit it down. You're gonna breathe in deeply, fill all the air into your lungs, keep your chin tucked, keep your head over your rib cage, and make sure your whole thorax is over your pelvis. Again, hit it down, sink into it. Make sure your knees stay in line with your toe. It doesn't dump in, it doesn't rotate over the tip of your toe. And again, make sure that you're upright and your hips are stacked on you at the top of the movement. Again, come on down, show another example. Press it in, breathe out, get all the air out of the lungs at the top. Okay, so that's great. So again, guys, we want to shoot for about 2 sets of 20 repetitions. This is all about lining the joints up in the right way. It's going to teach the muscles how to coordinate themselves so we protect our body, and then we can start adding in more loading as we get stronger and stronger. So remember, 2 sets, 20 repetitions, a 45-second recovery in between those sets, and that is it. And for the final segment, you're gonna need the dreaded balloon. You'll know pretty quickly here why this is gonna give you so much pain in the midsection. Let's get started. To start the position, you're gonna lay down on your backs. We're gonna lay up supine, and you're gonna need your balloon in your left hand. So we're gonna start on the left leg, and we're gonna be working through the external oblique and internal oblique on the left side of the body as we lay our leg down into extension and bring it back up. It's a basic leg extension flexion movement. Now what we're gonna do is add on the additional dynamic pressure of the balloon to force our external obliques and internal obliques and accessory respiratory or active respiratory muscles, AKA your abdominals, to get a stronger workout by breathing against the tension of the band. You didn't think that it's gonna actually make your abs work harder, but you're in store for quite a ride here. So what we wanna do again is bring our legs up. Make sure that your right knee is bent at 90, your left is straight. So extend your left knee, make sure that it's upright in flexion. Now again, you're gonna support your head with your right hand. Lift your torso up gently off the ground, but support the weight of your head in your hand. Now as you let the leg down, and I'll cue you before you get started, you're gonna breathe out into the balloon and try to get all the air out of your lungs into the balloon by the time your leg hits the ground. And then you're gonna breathe in, take the balloon away from your mouth as you bring the leg back up to a flexed position. And we're gonna repeat this. And most people can get about 4 breaths into the balloon before they're gonna have to release the pressure. Make sure you do it offside of your face, because the spit's gonna shoot back in your face. Believe me, it's happened a lot. Don't do that, okay? So I'm just giving you a heads up. And then we're gonna do another 4 cycles. All said and done, we're gonna try to shoot for about 8 to 12 repetitions. before your hips start to sway. Now, before we get started, remember, the goal is to make sure that your leg stays straight inside your hip line and that it doesn't start to deviate out because your pelvis starts to rotate. If that's going on, it means you're too fatigued and you need to stop. And again, be careful with this balloon. We don't want you guys to hurt yourself. So here we go. So we're gonna start, again, breathe all the air out, let your leg come down to a count of 4. Go ahead and hit it. 4, breathe out. 3, breathe out. 2, breathe out. 1, remove the balloon, breathe in through your mouth, lift your leg up. And again, breathe out. 4, 3, 2, 1, and lift it up for 2. Breathe out. 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it up and lift it up. Again, let's go one more. Breathe out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Remove the balloon, put it off to the side of your head, let the air out. Get it going. You got about 10 seconds, let it out fast, and let's bring it back up. And we're gonna start again. Same side, breathe out and let the legs come down. 4, 3, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe in, lift up. Now again, guys, the main goal here is to keep your hips stable. So your lower back should be in contact with the ground the entire time. Make sure that the femur stays inside the hip line, that it doesn't rotate out. And make sure that, again, you're taking slow, controlled breath for a count of 4 out into the balloon. It's gonna force your accessory respiratory, your active respiratory muscles, your abdominals to fire harder against the diaphragm. Again, this is gonna help you to reestablish proper breathing mechanics by increasing your intra-abdominal pressure. So go ahead and kill it, guys. We're gonna do, again, about 12 reps on each side of the body, and then you're gonna give yourself a minute to recover, and then we would then do it again. All said and done, you're gonna look at about 24 reps on either side. And remember, as you get stronger, your body's gonna be able to get more air out. You're gonna get a stronger contraction in your abdominals, and we wanna keep those abs tight and engaged as you bring your leg back up. So again, as we breathe in, your abdominal pressure contains your ribs down, and that's why this, again, is about gauging what's called your zone of apposition. The way that the abs pull the ribs down to oppose the tension of the diaphragm, so you can get a nice deep breath in using only your diaphragm and intercostals without having to recruit those accessory respiratory muscles that breathe in, the sternocleidomastoid, the scalenes, and the pec minor, all of which we talked about last week. So if you need a refresher, make sure to revisit that video as well, and that will bring us to the end of this segment. So that brings us to the end of our video series today. Remember, this is all about restoring the function of your breathing mechanics. Oftentimes, due to the muscle imbalances that are present in our populations, we see the ribs lift up, and that alters the way that our diaphragm is suspended in our rib cage. It's going to alter our breathing mechanics, so we want to make sure that we learn how to engage our abdominals and our breathing mechanics, our primary breathing mechanics, our diaphragm and intercostals in the right way. Hopefully you were able to receive some information that will help you to restore that functionality today. Remember, if you have questions, reach out to us at admin@fluidhealthandfitness.com. And as always, your body is designed to move, so stay in motion. And we'll see you next week for another episode.